Hi, it's Ian, and welcome back to my 30 Days of Taiko Skills. Today is day 27, and I'm talking about recording yourself, which is something I've been doing for many, many years, starting probably in high school, just to hear what's going on, to see uh, if what I'm playing or my concept of what I'm playing as I play, if that's truly accurate to what's really going on. So the saying goes that the tape doesn't lie. That's what I was doing, is to confirm whether my concept of what was going on is actually how the tape recorder would be capturing it. And in most cases, it's different. So that's the idea of recording yourself. I always record myself in practice, rehearsals, and performances, and reevaluate if I think that there's some things that need to be worked on, or on the other side of the coin, maybe some things that I have been working on, and I think that it doesn't sound very good, but in reality, maybe it sounds just fine. So I think our mind is good at playing tricks on us when it comes to music, and we can't always judge accurately what we're playing and what it sounds like. So recording yourself, very important thing. Lots of teachers and artists will recommend this, and yeah, to me, it's an indispensable tool to improve. So the first way, as I just mentioned, the first way I would record myself many years ago was on a portable cassette tape recorder, and I used that for a long, long time until the kind of common use of digital recorders. And the first very good one that I got a bunch of years back was called the Zoom H2. And this company is really well known for making quality, very high quality microphones in their recorders. And nowadays, there are quite a few different options for this Zoom, and also other companies that make very, very good digital portable recorders. So standalone, battery operated, or you can plug it in to a power source. Um, so this was a huge upgrade from cassette tape because it's digital. It's easy to transfer from one source to the next. But the most important thing to me was the mic quality on this, and the ability to change the settings for input. So that's probably the most used function I use this for, is making sure that whatever I'm playing, I can set the proper input gain so that it doesn't distort, and or vice versa, it's not too quiet that you can't really hear. So of course, as drummers, our instruments are generally loud. So if we're practicing on real drums, we may need to turn down the input gain, and something like this is very easy to do that. Um, Whereas on a portable tape cassette recorder, it wasn't always an option to do that. So this is a huge upgrade because it's a higher quality overall microphone, the digital format, and all these settings that allow you to change it. So, for example, the mic I'm speaking to right now into, um, the setting for the speaking voice is going to be very different than a real drum sound. So, in this case, when I'm playing a practice pad, it's acceptable, so I can use the same audio, but as soon as I put a drum in front of me, I'm going to need to either change the setting or use a different source or a different microphone. Highly, highly recommend making the investment for a decent digital recorder. There's so many options now, and the prices just keep coming down for the entry level ones, which are quite good. So Zoom is one company. There's many other good companies. After a portable recorder like that, I still use that as well. But nowadays, in my own practicing in my practice room, I'm often recording right into the laptop. So in this case, sometimes I plug in a USB mic into the laptop and just record that way. Or more often, I plug in my audio interface with an XLR microphone or several microphones. And since it's already set up in general, it's pretty easy for me to just uh, kind of plug and go. So it just gives me more controls, editing controls, or analysis controls with the computer versus the digital recorder, the portable recorder. Um, And if I'm actually recording a project or something else, it's very easy to just start editing because it's already on the computer versus having to take the SD card and transferring and such. So a lot of times, if I'm at home and I have a microphone nearby and my computer's there, usually I'll be doing that. And of course, these days we all have these things called smartphones, and it's very, very capable beyond just being a phone, of course. It can record audio and video, and that's just fine to do. I think, again, with a practice pad, the volume is not very much, so it might just be fine with a regular setting. If you're playing drums, you might have some issues with input gain. Once again, the microphone is probably not the best for recording music, the built-in mic, that is. So I'm sure there are many choices of apps that you can download that allow you to control the microphone on your smartphone. I haven't really played around with that, but I think I would guess that there's quite a few different options so that you could turn the input gain down. Just use your phone as a recording device, and I'm sure you can do that. Beyond that, of course, right now I'm speaking into a video camera, and we could be video recording ourselves. The reason for that, of course, is to get a visual idea of what's going on, which might be helpful for fixing certain things like maybe posture, or maybe later on I might look at my hand gestures and decide, oh, maybe that's too many hand gestures. Maybe I want to do this, as an example. So there may be things that are very useful on the visual side, but for my case, I'm usually looking at the audio musical considerations. And for me, if there's a video and I'm trying to listen to the music, that picture is too distracting for me to get a full, accurate understanding of what's going on with the music. In this case, usually I will either cover up the screen, look away, close my eyes, or do something where I'm not distracted by the image and try to really listen to the audio. And that's the same, of course, the same consideration with a video camera, or if you use your phone to record video. It's the same exact thing with audio. If you're playing louder instruments, you might overload the mic and get distortion. If you get that kind of problem with the sound, it's very difficult to hear if you're playing accurately or not. So it may take a little bit of setup with whatever you have, but you shouldn't need to get a whole bunch of gear to get decent recordings that you can really analyze. And in this case, something I have done in the past with my own practicing and with my students is that record yourself during rehearsal or practicing or maybe a performance, and then have your teacher check it out. So I'm always happy to look at whenever people want to send me recordings, I'm always happy to check it out and give feedback on what I think could be improved, and just as importantly, how to improve those things. So just as an example for myself, I may be practicing right hand and left hand evenness. And for example, maybe I'll try an exercise, record myself doing this exercise of right-handed lead, G pattern, ten teke, ten teke, ten teke, and then going back and forth between right hand and left hand lead. And I have a certain idea of what it sounds like as I'm playing it, but when I go back, I'm sure I'll hear more detail and figure out if I need to work on that. And this would be a great time, of course, to play with a metronome. Make sure your metronome is audible in the recording, so you could change the location or the placement, or you might have a different input source depending on how you're doing it. But it's always good if you can have some kind of a reference point for your rhythms when you're playing, if that's something you're working on as far as accuracy. So just as an example, here's something I might practice. Okay, right there, I already hear a difference between the right and left versions, and I have somewhat of an idea of what I need to practice with the left. I might take out the right and just practice this accent pattern like this. And then maybe combine it, go back and forth between the right version and left to see if there's a big difference. Okay, and then I'll add the other hand. And then maybe try different tempos, maybe try a different rhythm. So something like that, very simple kind of thing. Of course, it's great for your regular repertoire, any kind of piece that you're working on. If you're practicing to get ready for example, a concert, and you want to make sure that your playing is sounding okay from the audience perspective, it'd be great to record and just casually record, go back, listen to it, and make notes of the spots that you think need work. And then you can do a lot of the work before you get to the rehearsal, and perhaps you can avoid the comment that somebody else is telling you, which you would already know if you had recorded yourself and checked it out. So um, it's one of those things, recording yourself. If you're not used to it, it may be a little bit difficult to hear yourself and hear the actual truth of what's going on, especially if you think it sounds better than what it actually is on the tape. But the good news is that you can do something about it. And especially if you do this consistently, if you work on the same thing every day, record yourself every day, over a period of days or weeks or months, usually if you approach it the right way, you'll hear a very good improvement over time. And then you listen back to the original one and you can hear the improvement, which is a great motivator, I think, to see that, oh yeah, I actually did get better through this process. So it's one of those things that we can just do on our own. Don't even need a teacher or a method book or anything else. We just hit record, play, listen back, make notes, and then do that consistently with anything you're working on at any level, beginner through advanced. And I think the results are very, very worth it, worth your time and energy, and quite rewarding. So a little bit about recording yourself. It's, to me, one of the most important ways to improve. I hope you find it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you on the next one.